Diana Rosado is a software engineer at Johnson & Johnson and an alumni of Stevens Institute of Technology. During her college years, she founded the virtual technologies company Imagication with the goal of recreating college campuses within the Metaverse.
Her and her co-founder, who is not only her best friend, but her husband, have a very special connection, one that encourages them to kickstart ambitious projects aimed at making an impact in the world of education.
Hello, my name is Zidanni.
And I'm Emilio.
And your world.
We hope you enjoy our conversation.
So is this...
Let me help him out.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Okay, so sorry about that. Small interruption. We're still rolling, so we can just.
Oh, I was just like beatboxing,
Okay.
like.
Oh yeah. All right, that will be our clip. That will take. So you're a founder. You're a former. You're a Stevens alumni,
Yes.
which is great. And what are you doing right now?
Yeah, I'm currently a software engineer at J&J, part of the TLDP program.
That's
awesome.
So before we get into what you're doing now, let's
Yes.
get into what you did when you're in college. So you've co-founded Imagination, which is a virtual technologies company focused on education in the Metaverse.
Yeah.
So could you share a little bit more about the inspiration behind Imagination and what problems you were aiming to solve in this educational space?
Yes, so I started Imagication. Like, this idea of Imagication what it was a year ago was not the same as it was when 2020. When it was back in 2020, it was actually a site that was supposed to help students to figure out resources that can aid them throughout college, from scholarships to volunteering opportunities, because I love everything education. I love mentoring people. I love supporting people. And I didn't know what's one single way to help them. And I instantly thought, like, let's just throw resources at them. But that doesn't really help anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So after a year of working on that kind of idea, that's when I talked with Makun, I talked with like various people, and this idea of like, what if it was just in like one conversation, like let's just put them in like a 3D world. And I'm like, my mind starts like spinning.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh my gosh, let's do this right now. And when there's an idea in my head, I can't stop thinking about it. Like, I'm in the shower, like, this is how we're going to do it. I'm like drawing in my head. And with my co-founder and my other team member at the time, I just told them, like, guys, this is going to be really crazy because we've just been working on this idea for a year. I'm like, guys, you got to hear me out. This is going to be the one that's going to change something. And then I just said, like, let's put it in like a Metaverse. And it's going to be a drastic change because we had a static site. Let's do it in 3D. And they were like, okay, this is a lot. Like, we're meeting at 6 p.m. on a random weekday, like, right now? I'm like, yeah, trashing it. Let's do this. Believe in me. Do you believe? My co-founder was like, no. Like,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How did you get them hooked on to the idea then?
I'm a visionary, and that's the best. So I guess some lore that probably everyone now is going to know. So my co-founder is actually my husband.
Oh,
Wow. What?
There you go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
At the time, I'm releasing it here.
Yeah. You heard it here. So there's a little bit
folks.
of, I guess, like inherent trust, and like he probably was like, okay, yeah, like, I trust her to a certain,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He at the time, he was my boyfriend of, like, we've been together since high school. So when he heard this, he was like, oh my God, she is doing this again. I'm like, hear me out. It's great. You gotta believe in me. And I'm just like, he said, okay, what are the numbers? I'm like, what do you mean numbers? We don't need, throw this away.
Yeah.
This is the future. Just imagine it. And I guess, like, I sold him on this idea. He wasn't sold 100%. He never is until we started working on it. And we're like, but what if? And they were sold. And that's when, over time, we just modeled the campus in a high-level way of explaining it. We just kept working on it.
Wow. You just sold me right there too, honestly.
Yeah.
That's I mean, just to say like, well guys, what if we put it in the metaverse? Like that's awesome. I love that story. And yeah, I mean, how did you so could you go into like what that transition was like from, a static site, which is, like relatively, I guess, simple to something more complex, like, it literally bringing it to 3D, like you said.
Yeah, I wanted to cry.
Yeah.
Every time
Every day.
every day that I worked on it, I was like, what am I doing? I did not know how to code in C#, work in Unity. I didn't
so it was
know.
in Unity.
Yes, yeah. I did not know anything about anything anymore. What I thought previously was like everything was destroyed. Like I was like, okay, whatever. Let's do this. And I was so frustrated every time I worked on it. I just kept pushing forward. It was so difficult.
Wow. So did you learn all those, I guess, like rudimentary skills to, build things in 3D from scratch? Like you had to learn C# and Unity from scratch.
Yeah.
So you had the idea, but you didn't have any of the technical knowledge to back it.
Yeah. So fortunately, my co-founder, he is more technical. So he was able to pick it up. Wasn't an expert by any means, but he was the one I was really leaning on for the technicality.
Yeah.
I was the one that was really like I said, the visionary. I could envision what we're doing here. Like this goes there. I'll give him the UI. And so he was the one really heavy lifting everything else.
Okay. Wow.
So currently now you're a software engineer at the Technical Leadership Development Program at Johnson & Johnson. What are some of your key responsibilities and what kind of projects are you currently involved in?
Yeah, so honestly, in this program itself, it's an early in career program. And what's great that they changed throughout the years is that it used to be a rotational, which meant that for I think you have 3 rotations for a set number of months, you experience a project. And then you move on to the next project. And that's it. It's very rigid. Now they changed it so that, hey, find a project. Maybe you can work on 2 projects at once. Whatever you want to do. And so
it's very entrepreneurial. Yeah.
I guess, honestly, I could see it as that, yes. So immediately they put me on a back-end project, and I remember saying to him, I hate back-end. Not put me there. By the way, I'm not good at coding. I really talked my way through this.
Yeah.
But I remember I'm in a back-end project. Really creating APIs, libraries. But this is I am also working on extended reality project right now.
Wow.
And you proposed the project yourself?
No, this one is a project that already exists at J&J. That I was I knew the person that was there, and I took advantage.
Awesome. So something that I briefly mentioned to you before we started recording too, which I was the AR XR space is niche compared to some of the other larger areas of computing. So I'm curious, what's your story? How did you specifically get into AR XR at J&J or just in general?
So I'm a professional yapper.
Yeah.
I love talking to people. I love networking. And when I started as a co-op in J&J, the first thing my manager told me was network. J&J is a networking company, relationship. You gotta talk. You gotta build relationships. And I took that. I'm okay, sure. I was having 3 one-on-ones a week. I was hey, wow. I want to meet you. Hey, I want to meet you. Hey. And oh my God, I'm geez. Every co-op does this. So it's not new to anyone. They were just okay, an intern's messaging me. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't know what the purpose of these one-on-ones were for me until someone told me, yeah, what are you interested in? And I just I like VR, I like this, I like that. And they said, oh yeah, we have a XR lab, which stands for extended reality. Mm-hmm. And just for by definition, extended reality is an umbrella term for augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality. Uh-huh. Mm. And they said, we have an XR team. And I said, what is that? They was I will put you in touch with someone. So this is 2021. So I'm okay. I talked to this guy. His name was Jeremy. And we just had a conversation about what he did. He's the programmer. Everyone describes him as yeah, that's the guy. He's amazing. And I was like,
That's the guy.
and I'm like, okay, relax, Diana, relax. Like, this is the guy. And I'm not expecting a job offer here, but I kind of was like thinking, like, what if?
Yeah.
And I just set up that call, and that it was only 30 minutes, and that was it. 3 years later, once I got the offer from J&J and I started working there, my manager was like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know, like XR. I know you guys have an XR lab.
Yeah.
Put me on touch with that. And he said, okay, maybe I could talk around. He said, do you know Jeremy? I'm like, oh my God, yes. Like,
Yeah.
I know Jeremy. Like, we're like this. And
of course I know Jeremy.
of course, but you don't? Like, come on. But yeah, no, I messaged him, and I remember, like, every time I, like, would talk to someone that I talked to in the past, like, years ago, I always, like, copy that message or that email I sent to them. I said, I messaged you 3 years ago, and I'm here as a full-time employee. Hi. Like, and I remember setting up a one-on-one with him, and he said, actually, we need someone on our team right now. Are you interested? I'm like, yes. Like, I did not hesitate. Like, put me on this team, and I'm on it. And the rest is history. Like, I'm just on that team, and it's just so freaking fun. Like, the things we learn, it's just...
That's crazy.
Well, before we go, like, any further, like, discussing, like, the more, like, technical aspects of what we're doing, just to clarify, like, what is the difference between VR, AR, and MR, mixed reality?
Mixed reality. Yes. So let's start with augmented reality. Augmented reality is when, like, an image, like a digital image, is superimposed onto a real world. Like, for example, when you go on Amazon and it says, like, oh, here's a couch. Imagine this couch in your room, and there's, like, a button, and you hold your phone. You need a device for augmented reality, and you just generate the image there. So that's augmented reality right there. Like, it's on, like, a digital device imposed onto the real world. Virtual reality is when you can put on a headset, and that is, like, another step into immersion. That itself is like, okay, you can see, and it feels like you're there. Like, you can look around. It's not just you're holding a device and you see it. You can still see yourself, but it's there. And then you have mixed reality, which is like, that is the future. Mixed reality is when it's, I guess the best way I can explain this is an example, is almost like a hologram, where, let's say you put on the glasses, and instead of using, like, a remote for virtual reality, like, you have the headset, you have the remote. With mixed reality, you don't have the remote. You just have the device, which could be, like, glasses or HoloLens. That's what they do, I think, Microsoft.
Yeah, I think Meta has the lenses that
exactly.
that you can, like, see a holographic view of.
Yes.
Yeah, and Apple Vision Pro as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you don't need a controller and you can actually do, like, different hand movements to do different commands.
This is when you use your hand to interact with the device, make it bigger, smaller. Like, I think a key difference among all of them is how you interact with it.
Yeah. Wow.
And what about MR, mixed reality?
That was mixed reality, like, where you could, like, interact with your hands.
Okay, I understand. So, you've held internship positions and co-op positions at Johnson & Johnson and Con Edison before your current role. So how do you think these roles have shaped your current career path and your approach to software engineering?
Yeah, so funny enough, I hate technical interviews, like, a lot. I did one technical interview, I failed it, and I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah, that's pretty relatable, I think, for a lot of our audience.
Yes.
And, like, us, even though we haven't... Have you done one before?
Yeah, I've done a technical...
Really?
I failed it, yeah.
Oh, wow, dang. Yeah, so I haven't done one before either, like... So, like, a little bit about me, too. I just the idea of that, I don't like it, too. Maybe it's a little bit, like, reflective of, I guess, like, who I am. But, yeah, that's totally relatable. But, yeah, continue.
Yeah, I did one, like, in 2021, and I failed it. I just never did one again. My co-op at J&J, I did, like a project management role, and that's all I really ever did. Like, just leading people. And even in Con Edison, I was an engineering aide, which was far easier than just doing a technical assessment. So I just thought about it. I'm like, listen, if I can't get a job as a software engineer, I'm going to be a project manager. Fortunately, in J&J, in a TLDP role, and I don't know if they'll do this moving forward. I mean, that'd be amazing if they kept what they do now, is that during the interview, they just want to know your interest. And the question they asked me was like, well, what do you want to do? And I just said software engineering, like no hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, really? But you seem great. You're a great talker. And I'm like, no. And I say software engineering, look at my projects. And I guess the reason why I want software engineering is just I've always had these roles in leading a team and doing a bunch of projects, but I always wanted to understand the developer side, especially in a business setting. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, just having someone who understands the business, but also the development side is such a crucial skill. It's like patience. It's also like everyone loves that. That's actually what they're looking for in like when you work in jobs. They want a technical person in these business roles. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, let me do that.
Yeah.
So now that we've gotten a little bit more like technical with your projects, if you had to choose like between AR, VR, and XR, I mean AR, VR, and MR, which one do you prefer? Like, which one's your favorite and why?
I mean, like, if we're like, it's interesting the increments, but just to give a straight answer, I mean, MR, like that's literally the that's literally the future.
Crazy.
I was talking to someone and he said like, just like putting on like a set of glasses and then like just directions to go somewhere, and I'm like, well, didn't they make that already? No, they didn't. Apparently, I just thought like they have it.
I thought they would have had that, like the meta lenses and
right.
stuff.
There was the Google glasses.
Oh, yeah,
apparently,
Google
it was trash.
Yeah,
horrible.
Oh, did you hear about the new Google glasses that they literally just it was just announced?
Yeah, I heard. I didn't look into it, but I heard that they made a new lens. Like, is it better now?
It like looks like an actual pair of glasses, like compared to the Google glasses. But like, I think like in the trailer, like if you like looked, somebody was wearing it, you could like there's like a memory feature. Like if you lost like your keys or something, you could like go into like your glasses and then like look at the timeline. And
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I actually did see that. That was actually demoed at there was a an event, like a Google event actually at Stevens a few weeks ago. I attended, and they showed that off.
Really?
Yeah. It was really awesome. But yeah, I would have thought that too. Actually, like the route thing. I saw I think it was like a Super Bowl ad or something. It was like the Meta glasses. You could like play pool or something. It would like calculate like the best angle or whatever.
That's so funny. I love it.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So MR is your answer.
Yes, MR.
Yeah, that's awesome. Could you if possible, speak to what you're doing, at Johnson & Johnson specifically, like any projects you're working on that involve like MR, XR?
Yes, so I can definitely speak on, like, I'll give like high level details. So at J&J, part of the XR team, we were working on creating a learning module where users can, healthcare technicians can learn how to use this machine. And this machine is like probably this big. I forgot which procedure, but it had to do with the bronchoscope. There's like so many different parts to it, I'm telling you. But originally the technicians, the way they used it, like they had they just watched a video of a guy explaining how to like use it. And I was like, oh, like that's so boring. Mm-hmm. And so this team, they were tasked with creating these learning modules. And I came in towards the end, like polishing things and just fixing things up. And by the way, this whole project is for AR. Mm-hmm. This is an AR project. And just really refining the way it looks, fixing any bugs. And the results of it are amazing. Like people are remembering how to navigate the system far easier than if they were to look at a video. Like they're making less mistakes. They're feeling more confident in themselves. And I'm like, well, the answer's there. It's amazing how I'm obsessed with it. And the 3D assets themselves are actually like one-to-one. They're very, very, very accurate.
Wow. So you guys are basically using it as like a training, like you said, training modules technicians and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
medical technicians.
In this case, it's for a specific procedure. Yeah.
So do you need to have any prior medical, knowledge as a software engineer? Like, do you get to learn about different, medical, things like related to that?
I mean, being that I completed those, what was it, like 12 modules, I think I could do that procedure myself.
Yeah.
I could probably get
Okay,
like
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
No, I'm playing.
Yeah.
I mean, like the fact that I completed this procedure, there's a quiz at the end. I mean, I completed it like so many times. I'm like, I'm just looking at the bug. I'm like, how do we fix this?
Yeah.
Do you need any medical knowledge? No. It's just really talking to the business and understanding, okay, like why is this thing broken? How do we fix it? And then you work from there.
Okay.
Using like XR technology and like education just seems so like sci-fi. It seems so futuristic. Like going to class and then, you don't even have to put on a headset. Just like right in front of you, like something with like you have to just through a screen. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So before you said you're a professional yapper, and you like talking, you like networking. I wondered how well that skill carries on to your job right now, even though it's more technical and you're in software engineering. Do you think it's still like an important skill?
I think that when it comes to being a professional yapper, I'm going to just say seriously, being a professional networker, there's a difference between just talking so much about yourself, but also engaging with the other person. You're not the most important person in the room. Like just building a genuine bond with the other person is what is important to me. Like when I talk to people, like I want to learn who you are. I want to learn like what drives you forward. And I think how you carry that conversation goes a very, very long way.
Do you have like any like examples or like of a conversation, like a meaningful conversation that you had that definitely has carried you like a long way?
Honestly, like there's so many conversations. Like even when I talk to like the XR person, he's the manager, Jeremy, like we just have conversations about XR and he just says like what drives you forward. And here I am just saying like education and we just talk. It's like very personal. And he's just there to mentor me. And it's just about being so vulnerable with that person that like they're able to take a step forward, like take you to where you want to be. And the fact that he has that impact on me, like I want to carry that impact. And just like I am like, being on this podcast with you two, like I'm going to go to a networking event after this to and talk to more people. It's just so inspiring just to talk to people and just help them. I think that's what really drives me. Just honestly, like going back to Imagication, I'm sorry for jumping back and forth, but in Imagication, just hearing people out was probably the most important thing. For example, this is like probably like something that drove me forward is there was this student. We were at this program for NJCDC. It was a volunteering program that I was in Patterson. And I was downstairs with her and I overheard her talking to her friend. She was saying, I don't know how I'm going to pay for college. And she was just going on. They're like talking to each other. And I didn't mean to pry, but I just said like, hey, I didn't mean to pry, but I heard you were talking about this. Do you want to like talk it out? And she said, wait, yes, like I need to talk to someone because like I don't know who else to talk to that's been through this process. She's a first generation student. She just didn't know. And I'm a first generation student myself. So here we are on like this whiteboard and we're like drawing out like her pathways. Like if she goes here, she could do this. If she goes here, she could do this. If she has to take out loans, this is what she can do. And after that conversation, she's like, okay, I think I know what I'm doing now. I feel better. And that conversation alone, like, just drove me in such a way, like, this is, like, that drove me for Imagication. And that continuously just drove me to helping others. Like, just tell me what you need and I'll be there for you.
So do you think in the future, like, eventually, like, at some point, like, all screens will be replaced by XR? Like, do you see, like, XR completely replacing just, like, screens in the future?
I mean, I don't know. This is getting like a little bit 1984.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
or was it? Is it not?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh wait, 1980.
Temperature, no, Fahrenheit
Fahrenheit,
451.
yeah.
Fahrenheit 451. Yeah, when like all the screens are like that. No, because there's obviously like, I think it can be used in better ways than like screens. Like that's brain rotting right there.
Yeah.
I think of it as like, let's go a step further and let's just use holograms, like in circuses, where instead of using animals, they use like holograms. Like imagine seeing like, hey guys, look at the giant elephant, and it's just like a hologram of the elephant. Or hey, like let's do a practice surgery, and it's just like a hologram, like a 1-to-1 scale. Like I feel like if we're saying like let's do the 4 walls of a screen, I feel that's a little basic. Believe it or not, I actually saw this video of them doing a giant wall of racing. And I was just like, wait, people were eating dinner and the screen was so close to them, but it was like they were right next to the race car drivers. There was like vibrations and everything, and the TV screen was switched to different angles, but they were so close to it. And I just thought like, I mean, I wouldn't want to do that. Let's do something different.
Yeah,
But it's completely like immersive.
It is. So I mean, if they're already doing this, I mean, what's stopping them?
Wow. I mean, I wanna ask you. Could ask. I'll let you ask your question first, but like, definitely, I want my last question to be like, yeah, like, what do you think? Like, super futuristic, like you said, Fahrenheit 451. Like your like outlook for like I guess. Like VR, XR, like what's coming up next? But you could ask your question.
Because I know that like there are a lot of students, especially like within like entrepreneurship like programs at like schools. They're outliers like compared to other students. They don't really learn the same way that normal students do, especially when they're just sitting in front of like whiteboard, blackboard, or a screen. They kind of have trouble paying attention, and like these systems that you're creating provide like a level of immersion and like tactility for kids like these, especially like in the neurodivergent community. They're really I see this type of technology as like really impactful towards them. So I was wondering like what your stance is in using these technologies for students who don't really learn well in the typical learning environment, as a way to like completely integrate them into specific like classrooms or programs.
Can you be more specific? Like, what kind of technologies are you referring to?
Like XR, like let's say, for example, like Imagication. It was made in Unity. It was made on a game engine, and to some extent, it's a gamified way to learn more about like the campus and stuff. So I was wondering if there was a future in something like that, some like type of like gamified XR. Or AR, VR technology within the classroom, like within like a curriculum.
Yeah, I can see that. Do I know any like secret insider information? No, not really. But yeah, I mean, that's just it. That's just the future. It's about what we put into it, and there's always going to be backlash. Like, oh, it's better to be in the classroom. It really depends on the individual. If that's the environment they learn well in, then let them thrive in that environment. But it's really important to have the support for that environment. If something goes wrong in that environment where there's like a technical error, is there enough support? Otherwise, it's kind of, I wouldn't say meaningless, but for something that advanced, it needs to have sufficient support all around and funding, because that is really expensive.
Yeah, I wonder, to Zidanni's point, which I think I would like, I don't know if you're making an argument for it, but I would agree. Like, I think it could like have really good use, in education. And I wonder like how that will change, the way teachers are like, taught. Are they gonna have to learn all these technical things, like how to repair these like headsets and stuff like that? I guess, how important do you think it is to learn about these types of, emerging XR, like immersive, I guess, technologies? Like, just as the average person, how important do you think it is?
The average person, that's a tough one, because in this space specifically, you are going to see so much backlash. Like, I'm already in XR, people are already giving backlash in a sense, like, is it really that important?
Yeah, sort of as a gimmick. People see it as gimmicky.
As a game.
Yeah.
And I'm persuading people why it's important. You have to think about it through their eyes. Like, simplify the process for them. And that's why don't put in the headset, don't put in the big giant box headsets on them, and just give them something simple like eyeglasses and show them something meaningful. And that is going to change their mind. That's where mixed reality comes in. Show them medical students, and that they actually do this now, medical students who perform surgeries. They need to see numbers. I'm telling you, there's a lot of examples of XR being used now that people have no idea, like, the impact it has. Like, seriously, like, the numbers don't lie. Like, these students are remembering much quicker. I mean, the fact that you can, like, perform a surgery on, like a patient, like a dummy patient right here, and not have to worry about losing a life, like, that's vital. That's important.
Wow.
Because, like, when, for most people, I guess, when they hear something like VR, it automatically goes to video games.
You need to normalize it. And to your question, how important is it to learn it now? The average person, I would say, I'm going to go and surprise you, but I don't think people are, I wouldn't say not the average person, but I think that beyond the average person, it should learn this. Like, if you are, like, have an inkling for it, learn it. Like, because it's there, and you need to inspire other people to see that, because it's just building a trend. You got to get people to love it.
Yeah, and it seems like it's coming up really fast. Everyone's scrambling to.
Yeah, it's like trending right now. So I'm like, you really got to see beyond the trend and see, like, the actual impact of it.
Yeah.
So you've been a business advisor for this organization. I'm not sure if it's an organization, eSchool for Girls.
Oh, yeah.
And you mentored high schoolers in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So I guess now, what are some key skills or advice that you would give to these aspiring entrepreneurs?
Yeah, no, the most important thing is, like, start small. And I don't mean, like make $5. No, like, make something stupid. Seriously, make something so stupid that it's kind of funny to think about. Just, for example, like, you go on Instagram, TikTok, they're like crypto, blockchain, VR, XR, and it's so freaking overwhelming. You're like, where do I start? Where do I learn? And the internet isn't so helpful to the point. Like, Googling is a skill. But when you're new to this skill, you're new to Googling, it's scary. And, like, then you develop imposter syndrome. So what I say is, like, make something stupid. Make something so useless that it's kind of useful to you. For example, I and my husband, we are creating an app to help our cat lose weight.
That's awesome. I need to hear how. Yeah.
She is 15.6 pounds. She is considered obese, 5 out of 5. That's the rating. 5 is the obesity part. And she needs to lose weight or else she'll get diabetes. So we are working on getting her diet straight, but we need to keep track of it every week and take pictures. Like, because when you go to a vet, they're like, okay, we need a front view, side view, top view. And you're like, and they ask all this information, how much you're feeding her, blah, blah, blah. There's no app for it on the store. And I'm like, there's not? Are you my cat needs to lose weight. So we're like, what if we just created an app to just help her lose weight? Doesn't need to be pretty. We just need to know if she's losing weight. And that's just fun. And I say it's stupid because it's like you're doing it for yourself and you're doing it something meaningful. It doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to work. And you're so passionate about it because it's so freaking meaningful.
Yeah.
Like, I want my cat to lose weight. We're getting this app done as soon as possible. And I want younger entrepreneurs to understand, like, make something that's so silly and important to you, whether it's like you need a specific to-do list that it needs to have like certain colors, and do that. Yeah. Don't worry about the market size. Just get those skills in place.
Yeah. Wow. I love that example.
That is really
yeah, that's so specific. Like, I need my cat to lose weight.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah. And
People get caught up in like thinking so big, but no, like, think silly. Think fun. Like, have fun.
Yeah.
So many people get like caught up like with like the logistics and like product market fit, and how much money am I gonna be expecting to make like
Yes.
for, like 5 years down
It's
the line?
so exhausting, but I'm telling you, like, tell people I made an ad because like my cat is not losing weight. They will be sold on that faster than any crypto blockchain thing you'll ever make, and you'll build more confidence because you're just asking people for feedback. Like, listen, like, man, this bug is like it says she's not losing weight, but I know she is. So people are just, they feel connected to it because you're not
Yeah.
trying to sell an idea. You're just
Yeah.
trying to make
You're
sure
just
your
trying to
cat's
help
losing
people,
weight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, oh my God, that brought me back. Like, that was like my first, I made this in high school. It's like a super similar thing. It was like a ramen noodle, like best instant noodle finder. And you
Yes.
entered like a bunch of like random preferences and then like what day of the week it was for some reason, like that matters. But
Yes.
and then you just entered it. And that was like the first thing I made. And it was like so useless. It was like it's like so dumb. But
Have
I totally
fun.
agree. Like I totally like second that idea. Yeah.
Yeah, like have fun, keep it simple.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah.
I could tell like the your like time at college was it was during the crypto blockchain hype.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's like it kind of died down a bit, and
Yes.
I promised that we would like mention this in every single episode, but AI kind of like replaced.
Yes, that is the
blockchain.
trend right
Yeah,
now.
it is a huge
Bro,
trend.
we were on a good run, bro.
Yeah,
No AI
but-
this whole episode.
but
We were on a good run.
It just reminds me like, don't get caught up with like new tech hype because you're gonna end up wanting to fit it in to a problem that doesn't really need it.
Yeah.
Like there's so many examples of people just jamming AI into things like even especially like large companies
Yeah.
that just want to satisfy their stakeholders.
Yes.
They hear AI. And it's like, oh, put that in our
Put
thing.
that in. Write that down. Write that down. Like, let's take it-
SpongeBob.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, your advice on like actually focus on something that you'll love doing, like something that you're like truly passionate about, and make it, even though it's stupid, even though you think that you're the only one that's gonna like it. You're gonna uncover some audience that you didn't know existed before.
Yeah, and like there's so much stress, and I see that, and that really discourages people from doing anything else because they're like, I need it to be so like money making. Like no, like seriously, you are gonna attract so much people. Like I'll tell you one story. This one person from Launchpad, he created this like fashion app. Dang, I can't remember. Fit Check.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, and it was literally because he just didn't know what clothes he had or his outfits.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, that's such a good idea. And he just expanded upon it because apparently other people had the same issue. And just imagine your silly, stupid idea could be someone else's need. And that should be how it is. Do it for yourself and see how it affects other people. He also made another app that checked like if you're cooking like bacon on the stove, like it had a timer on it, and it says how much time is left, and people were downloading it, and he's like, it just happens. So
Yeah, it's so true. I definitely relate to being like almost like paralyzed, like by like so many everything going on. So it's always great to just stay grounded. Like just to reiterate one more time, like just do like make what you like to make.
Yes.
If it's XR, if it's like just an easy like static site, they just want to highlight like cool stuff. Like it's awesome.
like if
Totally
you're gonna
agree.
do with like I guess XR or just VR, just I don't know, make like a game that's like I made a pixel game the other day. I did like a game jam, and
Which game jam?
I don't know. I just went on like some site and they had like a list of game jams.
Oh,
Is it itch.io?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just like, it said like, oh yeah, here's the thing, you just make something. And I said, oh, okay. It was so bad. It was just, I'd never done pixel art, and I'm just using paints, and I'm just like, okay, this is my character. It was so bad, but like, did I enjoy that? It was so fun. Yeah.
It's so cool to see that you're so busy with like Johnson & Johnson, so you still find the opportunity to
Yes.
to pursue like these side ventures. Like
Yeah, it's so funny
Yeah.
because you're just like, what if I did this, and that's what I do.
Yeah, Imagication, game jams. Yeah,
Yeah.
You're very busy, but it's all great stuff.
Yeah.
game jams are so fun. Like
Yeah.
I've done a few. in the
Oh
past,
really?
yeah,
You've
but-
done one before?
Yeah, I've done a game jam.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't think I've ever like actually finished something to submission.
Mhm.
But, yeah.
I know Stevens has a lot. I gotta go to
Yeah.
one time. Gotta learn like Godot or something like that. But,
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, very cool.
Okay, so what was the question they had before? Like 10?
Oh yeah. So sorry. So my question is, okay, and this could be, I know you have to go. So yeah, this could be our final question. So
Okay.
what is next for virtual reality, extended reality? What do you see are some big trends that are going to be, coming up in the future? And like, what do you maybe hope is going to come in the future?
Ooh. So there's mixed reality is going to come next. In the next 2 years or so, next 2-3 years, you're going to see a lot of like big companies like NVIDIA release something like, hey, this is like a glasses where you could probably like take you somewhere. That is going to be the next thing. And the reason why I say that's the next big thing is probably not the most impressive thing, but because it's so expensive to do. Anything VR augmented, it's very expensive, the licensing. So the fact that they're even moving forward into mixed reality, that's like a venture that's like amazing. And you're definitely seeing more ventures into healthcare as well, because the numbers do not lie. And I know there's going to be way more opportunities for people to see its usage. It's incredible.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great answer. A lot to look forward to in the future. I actually just read something today. Apple, they're releasing a new Vision Pro, like much slimmer, more compact with their new M5 chip.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
this.
of course.
For this.
conversation.
Yep.
Thank you, Diana.
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it. Thanks.